Hey guys, it's Alexis aka The Sloth Reader, and I'm here today to do another video. This video is all about the top science fiction books on my TBR. I've kind of been doing this for the past couple of months where I pick a genre and then just tell you the top books that I have on my TBR within that genre. So that's what I'm doing today. These are all books I do own, so these aren't books that haven't been released yet or that I don't own. Half of these I own physically, the other half I do own on my Kindle. Some of these are new series, some of these are sequels, so yeah, we'll just go ahead and get straight on into it. I'll start with the two that are in the thumbnail. The first is going to be, I want to read the other, extra content that is in the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. I've read the original 4 books, Cinder, Scarlet, Cress, and Winter, but I have yet to read Ferris, which is like a novella about the main villain in the story, and I haven't read Stars Above, which is like a bind-up of novellas that all take place within the universe, and I haven't read Wires and Nerve, which is a graphic novel about one of the characters from the series, so just all 3 of those I need to read, but I just put them in one place since they all kind of tie in together. But yes, I need to get to these because I love the Lunar Chronicles so much and just constantly am always wanting more. The next one I'm going to mention is Replica by Lauren Oliver. This is one of only 2 Lauren Oliver books I haven't read, I want to say. So, I mean, I have to read it for that alone. But also just the whole idea of this book just completely interests me. This is the book that you can read. This half of the story is one story, and then if you flip it over, it's another character's half of the story. And you can read them alternating, or you can read one person's perspective and then read the other. I believe this book is about clones, I think. That's all I really know about it. Lauren Oliver for me is an auto-buy author anyway, so yeah, I just need to get to this so I can, make my way slowly through all of Lauren Oliver's books. I'll get there eventually. The next one I'm going to mention is Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. This is the television tie-in edition, but I paid like $3 for it, so I took it. But this is a very, very well-beloved epic space opera story. It's about this ship that is found by, I think, like a cargo crew, and on board, I believe, is like a girl, and this girl is missing, and so another half of the story is about the detective looking for this girl, and it's about the part this girl plays in like a grand scheme of things, is my basic understanding. I know this is part of like a 6-book series, and all of the books are pretty substantial, but I know that this is considered, like I said, it's very well beloved, and it's considered an excellent work of space opera fiction, so I'd really, really like to get to this sometimes. The next one I'm going to mention is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. Again, this one is very, very well beloved. I haven't actually seen anybody rate it less than 4 stars. All I really know about this one is that it's it's about an incredibly diverse crew that smuggles or like detects wormholes or something to that effect, but they're like a crew all on their own. And there's like a bunch of different alien races and all this stuff, and yeah, I know it's really, really well beloved. When you read the synopsis, it doesn't really tell you anything about the story, so I really don't have any more information to give, other than I do really want to get to this one because I've just heard really fantastic things about it. The next one I'm going to mention is Not a Drop to Drink by Mindy McGinnis. Of course, when I made this list, I went for many different genres in science fiction, and this is a post-apocalyptic story about like an earthen future where water is, basically depleted. And so there's like not a lot of water left, and it's about this girl, and she has a lake, and she's like trying to protect this water that she has. And there's like a mysterious set of footprints that suddenly appear around this lake, and it's basically about her trying to figure out what exactly is going on. I've read some other Mindy McGinnis books, really, really enjoyed them. I know Trina at Between Chapters, one of my favorite booktubers, highly, highly recommends this series. It's one of her favorites, so yeah, I just need to buckle down and get to it. The next one I'm going to mention is Champion by Marie Lu. This is the 3rd and final book in the Legend trilogy. I'm actually planning to read this one pretty soon, but I read Legend last year, read Prodigy, finished Prodigy in May, and I'm really, really ready to see where this final book goes, what happens, how this trilogy all concludes. By far, I think, in my opinion, one of the better YA dystopian series. I think the characters are completely, just totally well fleshed out. I think the story still remains really shocking even if you've read a lot of other YA dystopians, and I just think Marie Lu's a really good writer, and yeah, just have a lot of fondness in my heart for the series, so I'm very excited to see how this final book wraps up. The next one I'm going to mention is that I need to catch up on Saga. Saga is a graphic novel series that's basically about these two races are at war. One of them lives on a planet, the other one lives on like a moon surrounding this planet, and they completely hate each other. They've been at war for years, and one member of one race and another member of the other race basically get together, meet under crazy circumstances, they conceive a child, and they're basically wanted by both of their races for treason, and so they're on the run to, you know, to have a life together. They love each other, you know, they have a kid now. So I read the first 2 volumes of Saga, and I own 3 and 4, and I really just would like to get to them. They're super fast reads. The story is really entertaining, it's funny, and even in the first 2 volumes that I read, I did get even emotionally attached to the characters in those 2 volumes, and I've just heard that the story gets better and better with each volume, so yeah, need to catch up on Saga. The next one I'm going to mention is Starflight by Melissa Landers. I don't know if I'm interested necessarily in reading the whole series, but I've heard that this first book in the series is really good. I've heard really good things about this first book. This basically follows our 2 main characters. Our main character, Solara, who basically indentures herself in exchange for a trip across the universe, and along the way she meets up with this guy named Duran, who is framed for some crime on Earth, I think, and so they end up having to like escape across the stars together, and I know that this is like a hate-to-love romance. So yeah, again, I've heard really good things about this first book, and I'm definitely interested to check it out, and I really love this cover because it's super pretty. What I'm going to mention is a very, very well-beloved series, and that is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This follows our main character, Darrow. He is basically a red, which means that he is of the lowest class on Mars. I want to say it's Mars. And so basically he is like a slave, and so the rest of the Reds are also like slaves. So of course he dreams of like being free, and I think he discovers that he has abilities that someone of his class shouldn't have. So he gets like taken to a school to teach him to hone his abilities, something like that. With this series, for some reason, I've really tried to avoid knowing too much about it. I don't even know why that is necessarily, but I have. So that's pretty much all I know is like that basic premise. But I know it's very, very well beloved, and I know that it's being continued, I think, which makes me eager to really pick it up because I'm interested to know what's gonna happen. The final book I'm going to mention is a book I technically have already started because I've read the first like 2 pages, and that was a book that was on my top 15 to read in 2017 list, and that is Shatter Major by Tahara Mafi. This whole series I'd really like to get to this year. This is a very classic dystopian, I feel like, and you guys know me, I love dystopians. It's one of my favorite genres, always will be one of my favorite genres. So yes, this is about our main character, Juliet, who is basically like locked up by the government because she has a touch that is lethal, and that's pretty much all I know. I know some other character names in this book, but I really don't know anything else about it. But yeah, I did just start it. I'm hoping to read it and finish it this month, so I'm excited to get to this one. Alright guys, so those were all of the top science fiction books on my TBR. I'd love to hear what science fiction books are at the top of your TBR, or even if you want to recommend me your favorite science fiction book. Always on the lookout for some science fiction books. And I'll see you guys soon with another video. Bye!